Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. So we are reading chapter 17 of Bhagavad Gita, the divisions of faith. Shraddha Tray Vibhag Yog. Let's say Mangla Charan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayambhuva Kadamaya Dati Swarupadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shuddhapatkamlam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Satam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sahitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindeshwari Vishnu Bhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Pavanebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Radha Shri Bhakti Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishaya Shri Bhakti Vedanta Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachala Pangum Langyata Girim Yatripatapaham Vande Sri Guru Paramananda Madhavam Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaye Namo Namah. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining. Let's continue from where we left off. So we were reading chapter 17. Anybody wants to, maybe one of the kids, let's see who all are here. Avni, Vedahi. Okay. Anybody wants to mention what we read about in last class? The 3 or 4 verses that we covered.
We talked about the different types of food in the different modes of material nature.
Very bold, yes. So what was your takeaway from that? What kind of food should we eat?
We need to eat food that is prasadam.
Yes.
It's transcendental and
So,
it's best for our soul.
So there are 3 categories mentioned here: mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Which one does that prasadam fit into? Verse 8, 9 or 10?
It fits into none.
Yes. Why? Because it is transcendental, right? Prasadam is divya. It is offered to the Lord. So when Krishna is talking about the foods here, he's talking about not really devotees. He's talking about general people. That people in general have these 3 divisions of faith. According to the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. And according to that, they eat the different types of food. But as devotees, we understood that we should eat food that is offered to the Lord so that it is sinless. It expresses our love, right? But why should we eat prasadam? Why not just eat mode of goodness?
So that we can control our tongue.
Okay, what are the benefits? Everybody can list one benefit, I'm sure. So Avni said we can control our tongue. Control our tongue as in what? Control the what we speak, or what we
what we eat and all that, like so that we don't eat like food that will give us karmic reactions, like meat.
Right. Yes. So we control the quality of food that we are eating, right? Because we won't eat unwanted things. Because Krishna won't eat unwanted things, and since we are offering the food to him first, we are not offering him anything that has, let's say, meat or intoxicants or alcohol or foods that are in mode of ignorance, right? Tamasic food. We won't offer those to the Lord, right? Onion, garlic, all those things Krishna doesn't like. He said those are in mode of ignorance. He's transcendental, so we won't offer those foods to him. So since we don't offer those to him and we are eating only prasadam, we are not eating any of those unwanted things. We are eating the food that Krishna likes to eat. Perfect. So that is one. What else? How? So okay, we are not eating those foods, unwanted things. We are not getting karmic reactions. Good. What else? Vedi, you're on mute. I think you're saying something.
Yeah. I was thinking about what to say.
Okay. Okay, let's hear from somebody. How about Avinash, Priyanka Mataji? Why should we eat prasadam?
It's good for our health. It has no
Good for health, the mode of goodness wala food bhi, right?
uh,
Sattvic food is good for health. So now we are going to the transcendental platform, which is beyond this body, right?
yeah.
So why eat prasadam? Why is that transcendental? Why is that mode of goodness bhi, agar aap nahi bhi offer karke khao, but if it is food that is sattvic, that is good for your health. Like last time Ravi Prabhu Murli Prabhu were sharing that we drink these smoothies and all these things, they're good for you, right? Milk products, fruits, vegetables. Many people do those things, but that's not prasad. So why prasad? Yes, Vedi.
It's good for the soul.
It's good for the soul. How?
Because it's prasadam, we're eating Krishna's remnant, and the soul is like we get happy when we get prasadam. Soul does.
Okay, I think I'm looking for something very specific here. So whenever we do something, any service, any offering to the Lord, any, let's say, deity worship, yes, it purifies us, right? But also, who are we? Yes, Priyanka Mataji, please share.
Mataji, I don't think, I don't know if you're looking for this answer, but just one thing that you had mentioned earlier was when we are making the prasad, and since we are making it for Krishna first, we are making it with a lot of love and affection, and with all those good vibes, as they called it. And
Yes.
like for food, I mean, like when it is just like preparing food, it's more like, oh, okay, this is a routine work, and routine work is usually dull, and somehow um you might get a feeling that, oh, you're doing this every day, and you're tired, or you're fighting making it and stuff like that. So just
Yes, Mataji, Hari Bol. That's what I was looking for, to express our love to Krishna, right? We express our love, express our gratitude to Krishna, right? For everything that he has given us. So we express our love and gratitude. Any offerings, right? Krishna says, right? Patram pushpam phalam toyam. So fall and water basically comes in the food category. So whenever we make any offering, whether it's during deity worship, we make any offerings, whether you do your job and you offer those results to the Lord, कि मैंने अपना काम कर दिया, मैंने आपके pleasure के लिए किया, मैंने chanting की. Chanting, why do we do chanting? For the pleasure of the Lord, right? To express our love to the Lord, right? Just like you call your parents to express your love, to show your connection with them, to show your exchanges with them, right? Similarly, you make something, maybe for your mom, dad, for your parents, right? To express your love. So expressing your love and gratitude, because we are very small, so we're not we cannot offer much to the Lord. So, but whatever we put in our body, we want to first offer to the Lord, so it becomes transcendental. So we are not putting anything material in our body, it's spiritual food. And secondly, it pleases the Lord because we are not just taking something from him and using it for our purpose, right? We are expressing our gratitude, right? Because everything belongs to the Lord. All the plants, all the vegetables, all the fruits, all the flowers, all the water that you're using to cook, the flame, the agni, the gas, everything is coming from Krishna only. So that all you're offering to the Lord, that I will not accept this without first offering to you, to show that you are the original proprietor. I'm not the proprietor here, right? Okay, so very nice. So yes, it purifies us. It is it is healthy, like somebody said. It is healthy. It is good for us spiritually. It expresses our love. It improves our consciousness, right? It takes our mind from sense gratification, from bhog buddhi to yog. भोग मतलब अपने लिए खाना, that I'm just consuming, I'm just sense gratificatory consuming, right? मैं अपनी खुशी के लिए खा रहा हूँ, that is भोग vritti. But yog vritti, yog buddhi is that I'm doing this as a sacrifice to the Lord, right? So you're eating very controlled amount, you're not eating, controlling the quality and quantity of food, preparing it in a certain consciousness. This changes your consciousness. जैसे कि the example is given, Sita Maya thi, right? Ravan kidnapped her, right? What was his mentality? Why did he want to take her? He wanted to take her for his own, to fulfill his own desires, right? So he had bhog vritti, right? He had bhog mentality because he wanted Sita for himself, separate from Ram, right? Whereas Hanumanji also wanted to take Mother Sita, but why did he want to take it? He wanted to take it for the Lord, right? So he had a yog mentality. So when you eat, when you honor prasadam, you know, that should be the mentality that this all belongs to the Lord and he has given me something to keep me healthy. So you go from bhog mentality to yog mentality. So this from enjoyer mentality. So the enjoyer mentality is the problem why we are stuck here, right? So that enjoyer mentality goes away. The consciousness changes. From Ravan, you come to the mentality of Hanumanji, right? And that attracts the mercy of the Lord. So फिर इसीलिए जब प्रसाद खाना शुरू करते हैं, you will see that you will start attracting mercy of the Lord. Your consciousness changes, your body also changes, your mind, your thoughts also changes, the words that you speak also change, everything changes. So you attract mercy of the Lord. So please start incorporating prasadam in your life if you have not yet. And then second thing, let's talk about this. This is all from last class only, but I just wanted to connect some dots. The last verse that we read, can somebody read this translation? Murli Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed, and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness.
Both. So now I have a few questions for everybody. So this, we know that this is talking about mode of ignorance, right? We took the example of intoxicants here because they are putrid, they are fermented, they are foul odor, they're decomposed, right? So first of all, the first question, who can tell me the 4 regulative principles given by Prabhupada that we should follow if we want to purify our consciousness and become dear to the Lord? What are the 4 regulative principles? Who can list those? Murli Prabhu, you want to list? The 4 principles, the 4 things. So I'll give a hint. One is no intoxication, right? Like that, there are 4 principles.
No eating of meat.
Yes, no meat eating, no intoxication. What else? Yes, Vedani.
No adultery.
Yeah, no illicit relationships, right? No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit relationships. And number 4?
No.
No gambling, Mataji.
No gambling. Yeah.
No gambling. Okay, perfect. So no gambling, no meat eating, no illicit relationships, no intoxication. Now, those 4 regulative principles are very intelligently given, right? Because if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a chapter that comes, please listen very carefully, where Parikshit Maharaj finds, I think this comes in Canto 2 or end of 1 or somewhere, where Parikshit Maharaj comes across this very ferocious looking man. He looks like a Rakshas type, demon type. And he's trying to kill a bull. And the bull is standing only on one leg. All the other 3 legs are broken. Only he's standing on one leg, right? Is everybody familiar with that story? Yeah, okay. So in that chapter, it is described that ferocious looking man, that Rakshas, that demon, represents Kali Yuga. Okay, he is personification of Kali Yuga. And he's killing this bull And this bull is a personification of what? Yes, Vedi.
Dharma.
Yeah, this bull is a personification of dharma. So basically, Kali Yuga was standing there trying to kill this bull called Dharma. Okay, and Maharaj Parikshit saves the bull, right? That is, there is a long conversation that happens, and Kali Yuga gets scared when he sees Parikshit Maharaj approaching him and is scared for his death, and he repents and all. So there is a whole very long story. But the point here that I'm trying to make is about the legs of the bull called Dharma. So there are 4 legs on which bull called Dharma stands. So Dharma stands on 4 legs in this society, in our society. If we want to maintain Dharma, if we want to maintain proper culture, proper consciousness among the living beings, among the human beings, right? Then if we want to have a very spiritual consciousness, we want to go towards the Lord. Everybody should be on a path of self-realization through whatever they do, right? That is dharma. So in order to uphold that dharma, this kind of path, there should be 4 things that should be upheld in the society. Okay, those 4 things hold the dharma. So the bull called dharma is standing on 4 legs. What are those 4 legs? Can everybody list one?
Number 1 is cleanliness.
Cleanliness. Okay, cleanliness or shauch. Let's see who can answer another one. So cleanliness, everybody should take care of the cleanliness or hygiene. Yes, Nirbhay Prabhu.
Truthfulness.
Truthfulness, satya. Okay, very good. So there are very important things in our society that should be upheld to uphold dharma. One is cleanliness. Cleanliness not just of the body, hygiene not just of the body, but also of the mind. And so Krishna will talk about this. What is the austerity of body, mind, and words, or cleanliness basically of body, mind, and words. So cleanliness.
Be kind to others.
Be kind, yes. Then Nirbhay Prabhu said satya, truthfulness, and Avinash said kindness or mercy. Mercy, matlab compassion, ya daya, right? So abhi tak we have 3: satya, daya, and shauch. Who can mention the 4th one? Anybody wants to take a guess? Since we are talking about intoxication, it is linked to that.
Is
Since
it
you're
Bhakti
talking
Mataji?
Bhakti. Bhakti is a very divya or transcendental situation. When we have basics met, then we can practice bhakti. So first we have to become a normal human being. First we have to become a cultured human being, then we can become a devotee, right? So Prabhupada said, first uphold these 4 legs of the dharma, then you can become a devotee, a Vaishnava, a Brahman or something. So bhakti will come only after we become a regular normal human being, once we stop doing animalistic things. So what is that 4th thing other than daya, satya, shauch? I'll give you a hint. Krishna is going to talk about austerity of body, mind, and word. And I'm talking about intoxication. They're all linked. Nirbhay Prabhu, you want to mention? Yes. Mom,
Clean food. Clean food.
That is
Hygienic food.
cleanliness. Okay. What is human life meant for? Is human life meant for enjoyment? For sense gratification?
Tapasya.
Tapasya. Very nice. Avinash, Hari Bol. Can we say 3 times Hari Bol? Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Very nice. Good job, Avinash. So yes, tapasya. So human life is not meant for just enjoyment, just for sense gratification like animals. It is meant for austerities or tapasya, right? So we have 4 things: satya, shauch, daya, and tapasya. Tap. Tap means austerity. Okay. So the reason I brought this up is, now let's maybe open a Word document and see if we can understand this better. Okay. Everybody can see my screen? Yes, okay. So we said 4 regulative principles, 4 legs of dharma. This bull called dharma is standing on 4 legs. One is called truthful.
I can't see the document.
You can't see the document?
We only saw your folders and all that.
Now you can see?
Yes.
Okay. Truth or satya. The next is mercy or daya. Then somebody said hygiene, cleanliness, or shoch. And then you said austerity or tapasya, tapa, right? So now how is this linked to four regulative principles? This is what I'm trying to explain here. Prabhupada very intelligently gave us these four regulative principles because by doing these things, we are breaking a leg of dharma every time we do these. So which of the four regulative principles? I'll write here. No meat eating, no intoxication. You have to match this. They match the following hota na game. You have to match these. So can you tell me by doing which of these four things you break the satya or the truth? जिससे सत्य चले जाता है. Yes, Vedi.
The illicit relationships.
No.
Yes, Prabhu, you want to answer?
Yes, Mataji. The Satya will go from the gambling.
Gambling, right? Because you're cheating ek tarah se. So that breaks the satya, the truth leg of the dharma. Okay. Now who can mention mercy? Ya daya kisse chale jata? That is
No
easy.
meat eating.
No meat eating, right? So this no meat eating is upholding which principle of dharma? Daya or compassion. Prabhuji said gambling can be upheld by following the satya. Satya. Okay. What about cleanliness or shoch? How can you maintain cleanliness?
Intoxication. No intoxication.
Illicit relationship.
Illicit relationship that maintains the cleanliness of the body, because when you engage in illicit relationships, that takes away the cleanliness of the body. Okay. And then comes no illicit relationship. Sorry, what did I do here?
Intoxication.
Then comes austerity or tapa, which breaks the which is broken by intoxication. Yeah, tapa is broken by intoxication. So this is my last question for this series. Please listen carefully. So this is easy to understand. अगर हम meat eating करते हैं तो दया भंग होती है, right? दया, leg of the dharma gets broken. अगर हम gambling करते हैं तो we are cheating, fraud कर रहे हैं, right? कम पैसे डाल के ज़्यादा पैसे कमा रहे हैं, तो it's breaking the satya. No illicit relationships करने से cleanliness जाती है body की, right? Because you're cheating. So you're cheating, let's say somebody's cheating their spouse, so they're lying, they're cheating with mind, they're saying wrong things with their words and with the body, right? So that is breaking the cleanliness of the body. So cleanliness jati hai usse. And then this is my question. Somebody explain, because this chapter deals with austerity quite a bit. And the last verse that we read, Krishna talks about foods that are in mode of ignorance, right? So somebody explain to me how intoxication by consuming, let's say alcohol or drugs or other intoxicants, how does that break the austerity, या tapasya leg of the dharma? उससे हमारे समाज की तपस्या या हमारे human body की, हमारी human life की तपस्या कैसे भंग होती है by consuming the intoxicants? Let's hear some points from some different people. Who would like to share? Ravi Prabhuji is raising hand. Prabhuji, I'll leave you for the last. Let's hear from, yes, Agni Vedi.
So is it like, because like when you take intoxicants or like use drugs, you're like enjoying with like the wrong things, like, and you're supposed to be like doing austerities for like pleasing Krishna, but you're pleasing yourself?
Okay. Okay. Austerity का क्या मतलब होता है? तपस्या का क्या मतलब होता है? You're on the right path, but there is very and you're kids, so I'm glad you don't know all of this. But what do intoxicants do? You probably heard, all of you've heard, alcohol consume करने से या drugs लेने से क्या होता है? What does that do to our body? Yes, Avinash.
Mentally means like it affect our mental fitness, like, or if
Yeah.
once our mental fitness goes, we can't put the focus, and if we can't put the focus, we can't like think of Krishna.
Okay, very nice. Yes, yes. So that's why do we say ki don't drink and drive? Let's say it's something as simple as that. Don't drink and drive. Why? Because like Avinash said, focus khatam hota, right? Your senses, your intelligence, your mind. This is what body is made of, right? So senses, intelligence, mind, that becomes dull, right? Does it get sharper or does it get dull? सब कुछ dull हो जाएगा, right? आपका focus, like Avinash is saying, focus, concentration, your sharpness goes away, right? Prinka Mataji is saying losing sensibility, straying away from the intended path. Yes, आपकी focus खत्म हो जाएगा, आप उस path पे जिस पे चल रहे थे नहीं चल पाओगे, right? So you will stray away. So even the big vehicles, big machinery, you cannot drive, right? You cannot go to work intoxicated. They'll throw you out. Why? Because your intelligence is not at par. So the things that you will say, the actions that you will take from your body, the thoughts that you will come into your mind, you have no control on them, right? Whereas austerity means self-control. Austerity means to control yourself, your body, mind, and words a lot, right? You somebody जैसे अभी आगे आएगा कृष्णा बताएंगे व्हाट इज ऑस्टेरिटी ऑफ स्पीच कि आपको किसी ने प्रोवोक भी किया तब भी यू टॉलरेट इट, राइट? सो you tolerate more, you respond in a very appropriate fashion, so you control yourself, right? You control your body, you control your mind, what kind of thoughts come in your mind, you control your speech. But by consuming intoxication, that kind of vivek buddhi, the discrimination goes away, that dullness comes in the body, the sharpness goes away, so you're not able to control the things that your body is doing, the words your tongue is speaking, the thoughts that your mind is having, right? So jab control nahi rahega to austerity chali gayi, right? So this is how austerity and intoxication is linked, and we are following a very we're not following a gross path, it's a very subtle path. This path is not same as driving a vehicle or going to work. This path is a very this has to be done with a clean heart and clean mind, right? So you cannot have intoxicants in your body and have pure consciousness, pure thoughts, pure body, pure speech. You will lose that austerity, that self-control that is required for this subtle path. So that is why this intoxication is considered in mode of ignorance. It is completely opposite to what we are aiming for. And what will austerity lead to? By controlling yourself, you become sharper actually. Your intelligence, your mind, your body, your speech, everything becomes sharp, right? That is why it is said, right? Sanskrit verses recite karni chahiye. You are all told to recite Sanskrit verses, Vedic hymns, the songs, yaad karne chahiye, recite karne chahiye. If you're intoxicated, will you be able to quote those verses? Will you be able to quote the words of Krishna or memorize those songs? Right? No, because you lose the sense of reality. So already in this unreal world, we are already in a very unreal world, in a false situation. And then in that world also, you further go into a different realm of unreality. That is a complete illusion. So already हम illusion में हैं, उसमें हमने और illusion डाल लिया by consuming intoxicants. So that we become completely in mode of darkness. So illusion से बाहर निकलना है और illusion में नहीं जाना, right? So by taking intoxicants, we are really becoming dull. We are getting more disillusioned. We are losing our discrimination, the vivek buddhi, and we are basically contaminating our consciousness. So those are the reasons why austerity is lost. And on the other hand, by practicing austerity, all these things happen. You become more self-controlled, you become more pure, you become sharper. You're not only sharper, but bodily beauty also enhances. जो लोग तपस्या करते हैं उनके चेहरे पे तेज होता है, राइट? तपस्या का ऐसा बोलते हैं ना, तो तेज आ जाता है. So austerity या तपस्या gives you this potency, spiritual potency that makes even your physical body very vital. So those are that's how the austerity is linked to intoxication. Anybody has any other points? Ravi Prabhu, I'm sorry, you want to share anything extra?
नो माता जी, आपने तो सब बता दिया.
Okay,
बस
anybody else?
डायरेक्ट लिंक है इंटॉक्सिकेशन का, सब जो आपने बोला. आपका जजमेंट सबसे पहले जाता है. सो यू डोंट नो व्हाट इज राइट, व्हाट इज रॉन्ग. सो फिर सवाल है, देयर इज नो क्वेश्चन ऑफ डूइंग एनी ऑस्टेरिटी. सो
Right.
once you get intoxicated, first thing you goes your judgment.
Right.
So
So
you
this
think
is,
that, yeah,
these
yes. So
regulative principles are very thoughtfully given by Prabhupada. Think about,
yes,
so we should try to follow these 4 regulative principles as much as possible. And they basically make us human. ऐसा भी नहीं है कि they are making us a devotee. Prabhupada said by following these 4 regulative principles, you just become a basic human. Devotee तो बाद में बनेंगे, right? भक्ति तो बाद में आएगी. पहले just human तो बनो. Okay, so if anybody has any more to add or any other realizations come to mind, please share. Nirbhay Prabhu, you want to share anything?
Hare Krishna. No, I was just thinking that, same thing that our reflexes go bad with the intoxicants. And like Ravi Prabhu said, judgment goes bad. So this is such an important knowledge. Like, when the why is strong, then the how becomes easier, right? We say that then when we once we understand that this is so important, austerity is important, all these things are important, then doing them becomes easier because we realize how important it is. And thank you for correlating it with dharma and the 4 legs of dharma, and that by doing this we are basically coming to the human platform, that what the human life is made for is not just what the animals do, mating, sleeping, mating, eating. So that's what the animals also do, protecting. Those are 4 things that animals also do. And human life is for something more than that. So we should first try to become human, and then we can further advance our thought processes by doing bhakti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, let's keep reading further. Let's go to verse 17.11. So now Krishna will start talking about in next 3 verses about the sacrifices or yajna. So let's read these 3. Afala akankshi bhiryagyo. Afala akankshi bhiryagyo. Vidhi dishto ya ijjate. Vidhi dishto ya ijjate. Yashtavyam eva eti mana. Yashtavyam
Yashtavyam
eti
eva
mana.
manaha
Samadhaya sasatvika.
samadhaya
Samadhaya
sasatvikaha.
sasatvika. Let's read all 3 and then recite all 3 and then we'll read all 3 together so we remember. 17.12. Abhisandhaya tu phalam. Abhisandhaya tu
Abhisandhaya tu
phalam.
phalam
Dambartham api chaiva yat. Dambartham
dambartham
api chaiva
apichaiva
yat.
yat
Ijjate bharat shrestha. Ijjate
ijjate
bharat
bharata
shrestha.
shrestha
Tam yagyam vidirajasam. Tam
tam
yagyam
yagyam
vidirajasam.
vidirajasam
Number 13. Vidihinam asrishtanam. Vidihinam
vidhinam ashishtanam
asrishtanam. Mantrahinam adakshinam.
mantrahinam
Mantrahinam
adakshinam
adakshinam. Shraddha virahitam yagyam. Shraddha
shraddha
virahitam
virahitam
yagyam.
yagyam
Tamasam parichakshate.
tamasam
Tamasam
parichakshate.
parichakshate. Okay, let's read these 3 together. Can 3 people read, one each?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can read number 11.
Yes, please.
Of sacrifices, the sacrifice performed according to the directions of scripture as a matter of duty by those who desire no reward is of the nature of goodness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, one more person. Please keep on reading so we can continue. Okay, I can read. But the sacrifice performed for some material benefit or for the sake of pride, O chief of the Bharatas, you should know to be in the mode of passion. Number 13.
I will go. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Avinash.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Any sacrifice performed without regard for the directions of scripture, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remunerations of the priests, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So three types of sacrifices are being described again, just like Krishna described food in the three modes, faith in the three modes. Now he's describing sacrifices in the three modes. That what is the nature of people that are in mode of goodness? What kind of sacrifices they do? Number one, their sacrifices are according to the directions of the scripture. So by following the vidhi of the shastras, he says vidhi dishto. Second thing he says, those sacrifices are done as a matter of duty. So, excuse me, ये मानकर कि कृष्णा हमें सब कुछ देते हैं या भगवान हमें सब कुछ देते हैं, and we should express our gratitude, do some sacrifices as a matter of duty कि कृष्णा ने हमें इतना कुछ दिया है, then that is in the mode of goodness. And they do so without any phal or akanksha, meaning no reward, no results, no desire. So they do it without any expectations of desire, fulfillment of desires or expectations of any reward. So afala meaning devoid of any results, and akanksha means koi akanksha puri karne ke liye nahi karte. This is not done as a matter of fulfilling some fruitive desires. This is done purely as a matter of duty, and it is done according to the directions of the scripture. This type of yajna is in the mode of goodness. एक बार पहले समझ लेते हैं थोड़ा, and then we'll break it down more. Second, he says the one that is in mode of passion, those will be done for some phal or akanksha, like for some material benefit or desires. So look at this verse. He says those will be done for some phalam, for some phal. Before he said aphalam, akanksha. Now he says this is done for some phal and abhisandhaya, like for desiring some results. Second reason it could be done in mode of passion is for dambha. Dambha means for the sake of pride, just to show off. Just to show off that I'm a very religious person, I'm a very advanced person or something in the society, to establish your status like that. Some people do it out of sake of pride. So that is very much in the mode of passion. So for the sake of dambha, not to please the Lord, not as a desire to express your love or gratitude, or as a sacrifice for the Lord, but just to show off, basically. That is dambha. And so those are called in the mode of passion, he says. So the ones that are done for desires, they will also be done by, vidhi and vidhan, by scriptures, but they will be done, the consciousness of the person, the intention of the person is basically to fulfill their own desires for some health related desires, या कोई हमारा घर सुखी हो जाए, wealth मिल जाए, कोई बच्चा हो जाए, या कोई इस तरीके की चीजों के लिए बुरा time chala jaye, for some material benefit like that, or just to show off for the sake of pride. So those are in mode of passion. And then the next one, Krishna says that some sacrifices and rituals are also in mode of ignorance. Mode of ignorance are the ones that are done without any regard for direction of scripture. तो उसमें विधि हीनम, विधि नहीं होगी follow, विधि के बिना है, जो विधि से हीन है. So बिना किसी rules and regulations of scriptures को follow किए जो कर रहे हैं, that kind of sacrifice, vidhihinam, is in mode of ignorance. Other aspects of mode of ignorance yajna would be that there will be no distribution of prashadam. Asrishta annam, अन्न नहीं बांटा जाएगा, प्रसाद नहीं दिया जा रहा, right? Mantrahinam, proper Vedic mantras and hymns are not being recited. Dakshinam, dakshina nahi di ja rahi priest ko. Dakshina means to give remuneration to the priest, to give dakshina to the priest, right? Because Brahmins should always be given some dakshina when they do the yajna, but you're not giving any dakshina to them. या फिर you treat them very badly कि ये लोग को कम समझना, और just थोड़ा बहुत कहीं, जैसे इंडिया में से कई बार करते हैं, ओके 11 रुपए दान दे दिया, दक्षिणा दे दी, इससे ज्यादा उनसे हैगल करना, इससे ज्यादा क्या लोगे, like that. That is adakshina. Shraddha virahitam. Shraddha virahitam meaning no faith. Faith nahi hai. so out of fear कर रहे हैं, बिना faith के कर रहे हैं कि okay, I don't think these kind of things help. I don't think yajnas and all help, but करने में क्या जाता है, करके ये भी करके देख लेते हैं. You know, somebody's in a bad situation and they say, okay, let me do this also. I don't have any faith in such processes. I don't have any faith in Lord. I don't think this works, but okay, I will do this. So without any faith, or do this out of fear, out of foolishness. So that is all in mode of ignorance. So let's break this a little bit more. Let's go to the number 11 verse, the one that is in mode of goodness. Now, one of our very great acharyas, his name is Bhaktivinoda Thakur, whose song we just sang today. He gave 4 reasons, 4 intentions by which a human being does something, especially while approaching the Lord. He said there are 4 reasons why people approach the Lord, right? So let's see who knows those 4 reasons why we approach the Lord. Yes, Vedi.
Bhakti, I think, knowledge, fear, and duty, out of duty, I think.
Okay, let's see who else. Yes, Ravi Prabhu.
चतुर्विधा भजन्ते माम जनासु कीर्तिनो अर्जुन आर्तो अर्थार्थी जिज्ञासु ज्ञानी च भरत सर्व. आर्तो, who is in a distress, arthati, who wants money, jigyasu, who knows God, wants to know more, and the jnani, who already knows that knowledge will take him to devotion. So these are the 4 types of people, Mataji.
Okay. Who else can mention? Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Vedahi. Very nice verse recitation. So you're all right, you're all correct, but I'm looking for some very specific that we have talked about in the past classes. This is what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur specifically mentioned 4 things, and these are all what you said are kind of overlapping with what he said also. But I was wondering if anybody knows exactly the 4 things. And there is no right or wrong answer, right? You're all correct. Does Nirbhay Prabhu, do you know? Bhaktivinoda Thakur very famously has quoted 4 reasons why, or 4 different consciousness with which people go to the Lord, or do anything, not just go to the Lord, but do anything. Let's say we're talking about yajnas here, sacrifices here.
I don't recall. Sorry.
Okay, so you're all correct, like I said. Okay, this is very much overlapping, but I'm just mentioning as what Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned. So the 4 things are, number 1, you go out of sense of duty. Okay, the lot of people that are just, you know, trying to do something pious, कि Bhagavad Gita class में आना है, या भागवतम class में जाना है, या temple जाना है, या कुछ यज्ञ करना है, दान दक्षिणा करनी है, ये सब करेंगे as a sense of duty, कि चलो कर लेना चाहिए, ये भी कर लेना चाहिए, ऐसा बताया गया है तो ऐसा कर लेना चाहिए. As a sense of duty, as a human being, this is our duty, and this is correct. This is in mode of goodness, right? To do something out of duty is actually in mode of goodness. Parents also take care of their kids out of duty, right? Teachers also teaches students out of duty. We do our job out of duty, right? So duty is a very good platform to be at. So that is in mode of goodness. The next platform comes is to do something out of desires, fulfilling your desires. ठीक है, कि मैं ये करूंगा तो मुझे ये मिलेगा, अगर मैं अपने बच्चों का ध्यान रखूंगा तो वो भी आगे जाके मेरा ध्यान रखेंगे, या वो मेरे लिए नाम और पैसा कमाएंगे, या something. So basically अपनी desire, अपना एक vested interest है उसमें. So it is not just purely duty, there is a vested interest of fulfilling some desires. ठीक है, ऐसा ही भगवान के पास भी इसलिए जाना कि कहीं अगर मैं नहीं, अगर मैं भगवान से जाके मांगूंगा तो मुझे मिल जाएगा, तो भगवान से मांगने जाना, डील्स करना, इतने पैसे चाहिए, ये चाहिए, लाइक जैसे एटीएम मशीन के पास जाते हैं पैसे लेने, ऐसे भगवान के पास जाना कि ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, like that, that is desires, right? So to do something out of desire, that is in mode of passion typically, because you are a person who's in mode of passion, we read in 14th chapter, is always looking to fulfill their senses and do fruitive works and fulfill their desires. So isliye desires wala platform is in mode of passion. Then the next level comes, which is out of, is this reminding anything? What would be the next level you think, now that we have talked about two, the duty, the desire? Yes, Avni's mouthing something.
Would be ignorance.
Ignorance, what kind of sentiment will they have? Fear. To do something out of fear, right? To do something कि मेरा कुछ बुरा ना हो जाए, अगर मैंने ये नहीं किया तो बुरा हो जाएगा, डर के मारे भगवान को भी अप्रोच करना डर के मारे। या अगर मैंने जैसे स्टूडेंट कोई काम कर रहा है कि टीचर अगर मैंने ये होमवर्क नहीं किया तो टीचर पनिश करेगी, या टीचर ये कर रही है कि अगर मैंने इनका स्टूडेंट्स का ध्यान नहीं रखा तो मुझे निकाल देंगे स्कूल से। दिस इज लाइक आउट ऑफ फियर, सो वेरी लो प्लेटफॉर्म टू डू समथिंग, राइट? So one is out of duty, second is to fulfill your desires, the third level, which is lower level, is to do something out of fear. And the best out of all of these is to do something out of this, everybody knows, out of, yes, out of love. Out of love, that puts you in transcendental platform, right? So mode of ignorance, passion or goodness se nikal ke you go to the mode of, you go to the spiritual platform, transcendence mein chale gaye, divya dharatal pe chale gaye if you're doing something out of love. तो जो अभी तक बताएं कृष्णा ने, यज्ञ करते हैं, फर्स्ट ही सेड आउट ऑफ ड्यूटी, दैट इज इन मोड ऑफ गुडनेस. सेकंड ही सेड यू डू आउट ऑफ फुलफिलिंग योर डिजायर्स, दैट इज इन मोड ऑफ पैशन. देन ही सेज यू डू विदाउट एनी श्रद्धा, मे बी आउट ऑफ फियर, दैट इज इन इल्यूजन. But when you do something, just like we talked about offering bhoga to the Lord or doing any other services, doing your job, anything out of love, to express your love, then that is the transcendental platform, right? So that is the platform where we need to be. So if you see, as a matter of duty, this is the first thing that Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions, that a lot of people do this, which is fine, but it is in the mode of goodness. So these people will be following the directions of the scriptures, and they will try to, have proper recitation of the mantras, proper brahmana, proper dan dakshina, prashadam, everything will be done properly. That will be mode of goodness. And they don't have any desires, fruitive desires. They're just doing this to offer respect to the deity or to the demigod or to the Lord, offer respect and gratitude. That is in mode of goodness. The second one was mode of passion, which is done to get some results or for sake of pride. And the third one was just having no faith, no proper remuneration to the priest, no prashadam, no vidhi vidhan, no proper mantra recitation. That is mode of illusion. Now, again, another question. We have read this many moons back when we were all kids. We read this. What are the various type of debts that a human being has that he should relieve by doing these sacrifices or yagyas? Why are we talking about these sacrifices or yagyas in this day and age? Kaun karta hai yagya ya sacrifice? Nahi karte, right? But karne chahiye ya nahi? Should we do some sacrifices to relieve us of certain debts that we have, right? Are we here completely independent? Are we like Lord, completely Swarat? No, right? We are dependent. We are dependent on many things, right? We are dependent on so many things. So there are 5 main people, 5 main things, entities that we are dependent on, whose debts we need to relieve before we can be free of this material bondage. And to relieve those debts, we do these sacrifices. So let's see if everybody can list those 5 people that we are indebted to. Okay, Vaidehi is ready to answer every time. Anybody else? I'll come back to you, Vaidehi. I know you have answers. How about Avinash Prabhu, Mom? Any guess? You can take guesses, because just think of who all the things and people and entities that we are dependent on, right? Ravi Prabhu, I'll circle back to you too, Prabhuji. Avinash, would you like to take a guess?
Parents. Yeah,
Parents.
parents.
Okay, parents, या फिर basically the 5 that teachers. Okay, yes, gurus. Okay, very good. Who else? Parents, teachers. Okay, Ravi Prabhu, you can and Vaidehi after that.
As Hare Krishna, as he said, Pitra Rin, the parents like a Pitra, all the Pitra. Guru, he already said. We have Devata.
Devatas, so the demigods or the celestials. Yes. Let's see, Vaidehi, you have any more? Which one were you gonna say?
The parents and the teachers.
Parents and teachers, okay. Devatas, who else? Murli Prabhu, would you like to take a guess? We were talking about Prashadam, right? What else are we dependent on?
Brahman.
Brahmans, okay. Yes, Abni.
Like nature or like prakriti or no, not prakriti. Like
Sure.
nature for like food.
Food, okay, yeah. So like plants, vegetables, they're all various living entities, right? So other living entities, cows, right? They give us milk. Honeybees that give us honey. All the crops, and they're all living entities. Remember, all the trees, they're living entities, right? That we are cutting down for our needs. Microorganisms that we use, right? Dahi kaise banta hai? With the help of microorganisms, right? So all these, there are so many living entities that help us. So living entities, bhuta or living entities. So okay, so far we have somebody said parents ya fir ancestors, matlab pitris, okay. Then you said teachers matlab jaise ki Brahmans vagera. Prabhuji said Brahmans, basically spiritual teachers, right? That people that are supposed to give us instructions, spiritual education. Then somebody said demigods or celestials, devta gan, jaise ki hame fire milti hai fire god se, vayu milti hai vayu dev se, like that, right? So many demigods or devas are involved. So there is basically एक ब्राह्मण ऋण होता है जो चुकाना होता है, एक पितृ ऋण, एक भूत ऋण living entities that we talked about, एक देवा ऋण और ब्रह्म ऋण which is celestials, और एक होता है other living beings, like not living beings like any living being but humans, जितने भी humans, तो उसमें आ जाते हैं parents या दूसरे गुरु या फिर हमारे community, हमारी country, right? So उसमें आ जाते हैं humans में, that is nar. So नरों का ऋण, पितृ ऋण, ब्राह्मण्स का ऋण, okay, देवताओं का ऋण, and living entities or bhuta. So these are the 5 things, 5 entities, 5 people, different type that we are dependent on, and we read this many ages back, I think in 3rd chapter. Now above all, there is one big consumer of all these sacrifices that we do. So we should do sacrifices to all of these. Yes, Avni, this is a very big hand raised. Krishna, can you prove that with a verse that he, whatever sacrifices we do to all these living entities, he ultimately gets the results of those sacrifices?
In 5.29, Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suridam sarva bhutanam gyantva shantim rikshati.
Bol. Yes, so this is labeled as peace formula by Prabhupada. Prabhupada said that if you remember this verse, one verse, then there will be a universal brotherhood in this entire world. Why? Because a person who is in full Krishna consciousness, he says, a person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. That he says, I am the bhokta of the yajna and the tapsa. So you should do all these sacrifices, but he's the ultimate consumer of all these sacrifices. So we talked about these 3 yajnas. Which yajna is recommended for us now, and why? Let's hear from a couple of people. Yes, Abni.
Actually, I have a question.
Yes.
What is the 5th step? There's gurus, parents, demigods, other living entities, and what's the 5th one?
Actually, guru and parents and all will come in humans, Yanara. Ancestors will be one, which is our departed ancestors. Then rishis or brahmans. Then come demigods, and then the other living entities like bhutas. 4, 5. Okay, so who wants to answer what? So we have all these sacrifices. Typically, the sacrifices to us, yajna means what? To do a fire sacrifice, right? Usme agni honi chahiye, ahuti hogi, various ingredients will be put in the fire, ghee and other things will be put, right? And there will be a Brahman conducting the fire sacrifice, and there will be Yajman who's doing that sacrifice. There will be Prashadam, there will be Kirtan, there will be Harikatha, right? That is what a yajna, a fire sacrifice, fire ritual means to us, right? Yes. Now, what is the problem in doing this kind of sacrifice, this fire sacrifice? Yes, Vedi.
And it's not really suitable in this day and age because people don't have that much time to do like a big fire sacrifice.
Yeah, like we did one fire sacrifice last year. How many can we do? It takes so much arrangements, right? We can't drag Shubhalas Prabhu every time because it is so hard, right? It is difficult to arrange all those pure things, right? The ingredients need to be pure, the ghee, the wood, everything that you're putting in the fire needs to be pure, right? And in Kali Yuga, typically everything is impure. You can try your very best to get the pure things, but typically everything is very impure. Typically the Brahmins that will be doing the yajnas are not the best, their motivation, their intentions, their knowledge, their understanding, their allegiance to the Lord is not the topmost. The yajman that are doing the yajna, they may be doing it out of just some desires and some pride or something like that. So their intentions are not proper. The ingredients that you're putting in are not very pure, so everything can be very impure in these days, in this Kali Yuga, right? So that is why, and plus all, like Vedi said, the time, the arrangement, the resources that are needed to do such a big fire sacrifice takes a lot of arrangements and so much time consuming that we cannot do that on a daily basis. So then, okay, so we understand fire sacrifices are not very much recommended for Kali Yuga. So which age was fire sacrifice recommended for? Was there any particular age that it was recommended for when people used to do fire sacrifices? I want to hear from somebody else. What do other people think? We've talked about this many times. Which sacrifice is recommended for which age? Can anybody mention with each age? Satyuga mein kya karte the? Every age has a particular type of sacrifice that is recommended, right? So let's start from Satyuga. Which sacrifice was recommended in Satyuga? What type? What type of worship was recommended? Anybody wants to guess? Remember that people had long lives, people were very intelligent, their focus, their self-control was very wonderful. So in that age, what were they able to do? Like what did Hiranyakashipu do? Yes, Avni.
They like go on mountains and they stand on one leg and they go like, and they like.
Sure.
say-
So meditation, right?
Meditate, yeah.
Meditation was dhyan. Dhyan was recommended for Satyuga, right? Forests were very pure. There were not many disturbances. People had long lives, so they could go for hundreds of years because their lives itself was thousands of years. Okay, so for Satyuga, dhyan was recommended. For next one, Treta Yuga, what was recommended? What did Lord Ram do so much? Think about that. Lord Ram ne bahut kiya hai, bahut baar. Anybody? Ashwamedh, okay. What else? You're close, but not just Ashwamedh. Basically, fire sacrifices. He did a lot of fire sacrifices, right? Lot of yajnas. So fire sacrifice was actually meant for Treta Yuga, right? Okay, then come to Dwapar Yuga. What was recommended for Dwapar Yuga? किस तरीके से वर्शिप भगवान की पूजा अर्चना की जाती थी? पहले में मेडिटेशन करते थे सतयुग में, त्रेता युग में फायर सैक्रिफाइस करते थे. लॉर्ड राम ने इतने फायर सैक्रिफाइस किए, राइट, for the 11,000 years that he ruled. And actually you need a wife sitting next to you for fire sacrifice. So for wife, he had to make these deities of Mother Sita, and all those deities were put next to Lord Ram to do all those fire sacrifices, because a man cannot do it alone. You have to have your wife. Okay, so Dwapar Yuga. Dwapar Yuga में क्या था? Yes, Nirbhay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, deity worship.
Deity worship. Haribol. Yes, deity worship, right? Vajranab created so many deities of Krishna, right? Once Krishna left, Vajranab was the great grandson of Krishna. He created so many deities, remembering based on the looks of Krishna that Uttara remembered. Uttara described how Krishna used to look, and so based on that, deities were made. It's a deity worship. Okay, and so this age, Kali Yuga, our glorious, wonderful Kali Yuga, what is recommended? Hold on, let me hear from. Is Avinash available? Or Prinka Mataji? Would you can take a guess. Very easy.
Chanting, maybe, I guess.
Yes, Hari Bol, chanting of the holy names, right?
Holy
Chanting
name,
of
yeah.
chanting of the names of the Lord. Hari Bol. So
Yes.
Japa is recommended as a sacrifice for this age. So there are all these sacrifices to please the Lord, but for this age, if you talk about chanting of the names of the Lord is recommended. क्या बोलते हैं? कली काले नाम बिनु नहीं अन्य धर्मा, सर्व मंत्र सार नाम एहि शास्त्र मर्मा. कली काले नाम रूपा कृष्णा अवतारा, नाम हैते हया सर्वा जगत निस्तारा. There are so many verses like that in Chaitanya Charitamrita. One says तारा मध्ये सर्वश्रेष्ठ नाम संकीर्तन, निरपराधे नाम ले ले पाए प्रेम धन. So you can get the love of the Lord, and that's what we are doing these sacrifices on a transcendental platform for the love of the Lord, not for desires, not as a matter of duty, not out of fear and foolishness and without faith. We are doing it with faith, and we are doing it according to the injunctions of the scriptures. We are doing it with chanting the names of the Lord, proper Vedic hymns as it is recommended, and that is the holy names of the Lord, right? So ultimately, the goal is to get the love of the Lord, right? एक रामचरितमानस में आता है, मिले ही न रघुपति बिना अनुरागा, कोटि जन्म जप तप वैरागा. So अगर बिना प्रेम के कुछ भी करोगे, कितने भी जन्म जब भी कर लोगे, अगर तब भी कर लोगे, वैराग्य, detachment, doesn't matter unless you develop anurag or preeti or love for the Lord. So our desire is to develop love for the Lord. So that is why we do the japa. So japa, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter, yagya naam japa yagya asmi, that yagyo mein main jap hu. Jap yagya is the supreme for this age. And those everything that you guys mentioned just now, I will prove that with the verses in Bhagavatam. This chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th chapter is the last canto. 12th canto is the last canto. It says, Kaler dosha nidhe rajan astihi eko mahan guna kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajet. कि ओ राजन, सुखदेव गोस्वामी saying, ओ राजन, इस कली के बहुत दोष हैं. निधि मतलब ocean of faults in this Kali Yuga, but there is one main gun, one main glory, good quality of this Kali Yuga, that Kirtanad eva Krishnasya, कि कृष्णा का कीर्तन करने से सारी attachments का खत्म हो जाती हैं, material bondage से free हो जाते हैं. So when you water the root, which is the Krishna, the whole plant gets watered. So all those 5 things we were talking about, the living entities, the ancestors, the demigods, the teachers, the parents, they all get satisfied by just watering the root of the plant, right? So he's the plant, and if you just water that root, the whole rest of the plant will get nourished. And then the next verse says, Krite yadhyayato vishnum tretayam yajato makhe dvapare paricharyayam kalau tad hari kirtanat. कि जो फल यज्ञ करने से मिलता था by ध्यान in the सतयुग, कृते मीन्स सतयुग में जो ध्यान करने से मिलता था, त्रेता युग में जो यज्ञ करने से फल मिलता था, द्वापर युग में जो डीटी वर्शिप करने से फल मिलता था, वो फल अब कल युग में मिलता है बाय हरि कीर्तन. कलाउ तद हरि कीर्तन. So you can see that this is the prescribed yajna for this age. And this is one last verse that I will mention before we close. Very important verse. Krishna varnam tisa krishnam sangopanga astra parshadam yagya sankirtana prayer yajantihi sumedasha. That in Kali Yuga, this is predicting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent. कि Krishna आएंगे, but he will look like a Krishnam. He will not look like, his color will be a Krishnam. मतलब he will not be black in color. he will come with his Sangopanga, meaning with his servitors, with his parshads, with his assistants, associates, and with his astra. And he will spread the yagya, the sacrifice of holy names, Sankirtan, and intelligent people that are very intelligent, not just Medasha. Medasha means intelligent, but Sumedasha, very intelligent people will participate in that yagya. So that congregational chanting will be spread by the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is a Krishnam, and he will glorify this Sankirtan. And so this Sankirtan is the yagya that is recommended for this day and age. And we also know that we should do everything as a sacrifice, as a love for the Lord. And so please chant the names of the Lord, and on a daily basis, you can do those sacrifices that are recommended. Not just yearly or once in 10 years, no, but out of love for the Lord, or at least have this desire that I want to achieve the love of the Lord. Right? That's where I will stop. Anybody wants to share anything, add anything, or questions? Okay, so let's chant with that mood. Let's chant one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Mancha kaltarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah gurve gaurachandraya radhikaya tadalai krishnaya krishna bhaktaya tadbhaktaya namo namah. Gitopnishad Shri Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories, all glories, all glories to Guru and Varanga. Hare Krishna.